So maybe let's just take lymphedema. I think it's one of the areas that I at least don't think there's that much information out there. I think the information out there is not great.
Yeah, it is not great. And for those of us who experience lymphedema, it's definitely something that it's a bit of a process. Lymphedema is basically swelling that occurs if you've had any number of nodes taken out. The nodes are little mechanisms that are going to help move the lymphatic fluid through your system. And lymphatic fluid is right underneath the skin surface, right? So you've got about over 700 nodes throughout your body. Some are bigger than others. And if you take a node out, let's say you've got the sentinel node when you have your surgery, and then one or two downstream, now you're at three. Backing up or blockage can happen because now you've taken that mechanism out by which to move the lymphatic fluid. So lymphedema occurs depending on the number of nodes, and it could be in any number of areas. So you may get it sort of down the side, or you may get it in the armpit or in the arm or all the way down to your hand. And the treatment, if you're going to go in and get, so there's a couple things. There are things that you can do yourself, which I highly recommend everybody who falls into the category of those who may get lymphedema or maybe looking at lymphedema to be aware of those things. And then there's things that you'd want to go to sort of an expert to go and see because it's something that it's a little more exaggerated. The first thing I would say that you want to do is that you want to learn breathing techniques. And breathing is going to help on a lot of levels. It's going to reduce, so you don't panic, right? You're like, oh my God, what's going on? You don't want to stress levels bring up the cortisol in your system. And it's very hard to clear out. And so the swelling can occur. It can be increased or inflammation can be increased because, again, you've had these nodes that are taken out. And so your lymphedema could be exaggerated by the stress. So the breathing technique is, it's like dragon breath or the sort of fire breathing that you're doing where you're taking a big deep breath and you're distending your stomach and then exhaling and moving that sort of thoracic area back and forth. It acts as a pump. The thoracic duct goes through the diaphragm. And so by moving in this sort of breath work, you're sort of massaging that duct. And that's one of the main ducts. That's the largest lymphatic duct in your system. And so it helps to kind of, again, prime the pump and get things moving. So I say that the first thing if you're experiencing lymphedema is to work on the breath work. If you've been taught by a physical therapist or somebody you've been working with, the brushing techniques as far as moving the fluid up, that would go, I would do that second. And maybe you're going to do some exercises, simple sort of squeezy hand above and below. I saw one video where they recommended doing, the sort of squeezy hand, and then the chicken dance. I was like, wow, okay. So it was like, yeah, these physical therapists are all in, they're doing the chicken dance. And I thought, it looks very effective. Whatever it takes to kind of get the fluid moving, do the chicken dance.
Quick pause. I'm Samira, a cancer survivor. This channel shares real stories in an easy to understand fashion, guidance for the hard moments during the cancer experience. If this helps you and it helps you having us in your corner, you can subscribe for more videos like this. Now back to the show.
Another thing that we do or that I recommend is getting a little trampoline. And so that movement on the trampoline, not like the high flying, you're taking your feet off and touching the ceiling. You're just keeping your feet on the trampoline itself and creating this pumping action. Again, it helps to move the lymphatic fluid. You could do that, 4 or 5 times a day, as much as you can stand. I call it tramping. That's tramping. Get on there and start tramping. So tramping. Now you moved into more of the sort of modalities that can help with the lymphedema. The standard is a very, I say, I know a lot of women out there probably have them on there. It's like this tan colored lymphedema sleeve that they fit you with. And it's super, pretty. It's thick and it's heavy. And it's like, I don't know, I won't go into the details, but it's just not, it's not a great look, and it makes you feel like you are, you're sick,
Yes.
and so it's a constant reminder, I'm sick, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm, which I think is the hardest part. because you feel, you can feel a little bit defeated. There's a company that Lymphedema that has really cool sleeves and gauntlets is the hand part. And I know a lot of women that have to literally have this on at all times. So you're kind of going into treatment that's a little more of an everyday treatment. So maybe you're having to keep, for someone who's got a chronic lymphedema, they're keeping the sleeve on. They might have a compression machine that they have at home. There are very expensive machines that you can get specifically for it, or you can get a lot of things on Amazon. The Hyperice makes really good machines that are going to help with moving that fluid back up into where it can flush out of your system. The thing that I like is just one more thing is the KT tape, and that has something that I just started researching. I was wondering why KT tape wasn't used for lymphedema when that's what it's intended to do, is sort of raise the skin a little bit and help with that healing process. When you see athletes wearing this sort of tape, it's support and this sort of movement of the lymphatic fluid. Well, it really is a perfect application for breast cancer, for lymphedema, especially if you have a sleeve that's not, sleeve is going to come up to here, but maybe I experience all my lymphedema above my shoulder, down the back of my arm, and on my side, which I do. So I sort of started playing around with taping and how the tape stuck on. And then I took it back to my physical therapist and said, okay, here's what I'm doing. And she's like, yeah, that's great. And so I find that there's more. When I first started doing it, there was not a lot of application of KT tape in sort of the physical therapy world, but I feel like it's a little more acceptable now.
Thank you for watching the Patient from Hell podcast. I started this because I wish I had something like this when I was going through cancer treatment. On this show, you'll find videos and stories from real patients, real survivors, clinicians, researchers, oncologists who share their learnings, life lessons, tips, and tricks to hopefully make the cancer experience just a little easier. To find more videos and stories, you can subscribe or share this with someone you think this will help. Thank you.